What's good, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for tuning in. Today's episode, pork butt. Let's get started. All right, so I got just a little over 8-pound pork butt here, and I'm just gonna trim it up some. I'm not gonna do a ton of trimming, but some of this loose skin I want to get off. The fat cap, when we flip it over, I'll show you that. I'm gonna cut just a little bit of that. I like that fat cap on there. I like that bark that fat cap provides. And I like to mix that fat in with my meat once it's done cooking. So I'm not going to go competition trim, but I'm just going to trim a little bit. Get that right off. Then we're going to get it injected. It's fat capped. There's a couple areas that are a lot thicker than others, and then other areas. So you're going to, like that, kind of even that fat cap out a little bit. But again, I'm not completely taking it off. I want to mix that fat in with this meat once it's done cooking. I just tend to like it. So let's get this trimmed up real quick, and I will pick back up in just a bit. All right, I got this pork butt trimmed up as much as I want it trimmed up. Again, I just did very minimal trimming. Normally I would trim out the money muscle to expose as much of that as possible, to get bark on as much of that as possible. I would also expose the horn on the back side, but I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to try to keep this really simple. So, not a ton of trimming. What we're going to do is I'm going to inject this. My injection is simply, I took 1 bottle of Italian dressing and I strained out all of the insides of the dressing. Strained that out, and I poured it in a container. And this bottle is a 8-ounce bottle of Italian dressing. So I mixed the 8 ounces of liquid with 8 ounces of apple juice. So a 50-50 mix. And then the rub that I'm going to put on the outside of the pork butt, I took some of that rub, which is Smokin Guns BBQ, the hot. So I took some of this rub and I mixed it in with the apple juice and Italian dressing. I want to try to get the flavor that's going to be on the outside of that pork butt on the inside of the pork butt as well. So I'm going to inject this pork butt, and then we're going to save this, all this garlic and stuff, the stuff from the dressing that I strained out. We're going to save that, and we're going to use that when we come, when I pick back up and apply the rub. We're going to create a paste, a mustard paste, when we apply the rub. But for right now, I am going to get this pork butt injected. Just want to make sure you hit this thing all over. That Italian dressing, I'm telling you what, it makes a great, it makes for great flavor inside this pork butt. So I'm going to finish injecting the rest of this. Make sure you hit all your priority points, like your money muscle. You want to make sure you hit the tubes. I'm going to focus on the horns, the horn as well. So I'm going to get this injected and pick back up. All right, I got this pork butt injected. We're going to set that aside. We're going to take the, all the garlic and seasoning that we strained out from that Italian dressing, and I'm going to add, normally I use regular mustard, but today I'm going to try some honey mustard and see what that's like. So just going to mix that in there, and I'm going to add just a little bit of apple juice. That's just to kind of help, get over here. Just to kind of help thin it out a little bit. And just mix this up and make a little paste. So you're going to get all this seasoning on the outside of this pork butt as well, which is really, really good. So that's kind of what it should look like. You know, just a paste-like consistency, nothing too thin or too thick. I think that's going to be just fine. So we are going to take this right over this pork butt. Make sure we get it all over. And this is what's going to be our binder to help this rub stick. So, you know what? I'm going to get dirty. So, oh well, let's just get right into this. Get that all the way, all over your pork butt. I'm going to do a 2-layer rub on this. The first rub I'm going to put on here, I'm going to cook a fat cap up, so I'm going to do the bottom side first, and then so that when I flip it and rub the fat cap, I won't have to worry about moving it around. So to that, I got a all-purpose SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. The measurements for the salt, pepper, garlic, it's 4 parts salt, 2 parts garlic powder, and kosher salt, and 1 part coarse black pepper. Let's get this out of the way. And we're just going to get this rubbed up. Just a light coating. And then I'm going to come back with that Smokin Guns, which is a really good. The Smokin Guns actually is really good for beef. But I'm going to give it a shot on some pork. See what that looks like. So got that there. Come back with this Smokin Guns. Just give it a nice good coating. It's a big chunk of meat. It can handle a lot of rub, so don't skimp on the rub. Put it on there. So I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to flip it over. We'll get the other side rubbed down. It is extremely windy outside. I think the winds are gusting around 30 miles per hour. So I'm going to cook this on my Weber kettle using my Smokinator. You know, I'll try to get some shots out there of how I have it set up and what it looks like throughout the cook. But honestly, I'm not quite sure how well that's going to work. It is just like howling outside. So I'm going to try to bring you guys along for that. Show you a little bit of that. But as I cook this, I'm going to spritz it throughout the cook, probably every 20 minutes, with a mixture of apple cider vinegar and apple juice, just a 50-50 mix. And I'll try to show you that once we get out there, or as I'm spritzing, if Mother Nature allows me to. So, anywho, got this rubbed down. We're gonna let this sit for a little bit, and then I will flip it over and do the fat cap side. Then we'll get it on the Weber. All right, so let me kind of explain where I'm at now. You saw the pork butt, you saw me rub it and all that. I try to film outside when I put it on the Weber kettle, but it's so windy. I have stuff on my deck that is just like flying by, and so the quality, the wind noise was just, it just wasn't possible to film out there. But I'll explain how I have my Weber set up, my Weber kettle. And it's the same way I have it set up for any other cook. I have my Smokinator on one end of the Weber kettle and my pork butt on the opposite end. I'm running mesquite chunks for the wood, and about every hour I'm gonna, or after the first hour, about every 20 minutes, I'm gonna spritz it with a 50-50 mix of apple juice and apple cider vinegar. Now, I get this question asked a lot, what's the cooking temp? Quite honestly, for this one, I have no clue. As windy as it is outside, I'm sure it's going to, you know, run high. But I do have my, because it is so windy, my bottom vents just slightly cracked open, and the top vent on the lid slightly cracked open. You know, even with those choked down like that, I still reckon, as windy as it is, that, you know, wind's going to get in there and pick up the heat. So, you know, I don't know what, you know, what my temp is going to be for, my cooking temp is going to be for this video. If it's higher, it'll get done quicker. So, which I won't mind too much. Anyway, I will pick back up once we get it off the pit, and probably wrap it in some foil, see what it looks like. All right, so wind's kind of died down a little bit, but this is what the pork butt is looking like 2.5 hours in. So, happy with the color. I've been spritzing it every 20 minutes with that apple juice and apple cider vinegar. So I'm gonna let this bad boy finish out, and then we'll get to tasting. All right, the pork butt has been on for about 5 hours, uncovered. We're gonna put it in a pan, and I'm just gonna spritz it with some more of that apple juice and apple cider vinegar. There's still a lot of fat in here that needs to render out. It's not done. It's only reading about almost 170. So we're gonna give this a good coating. And now I'm gonna take some barbecue some barbecue sauce. You can use whatever sauce you like. I'm just gonna run with some hickory and brown sugar, some Sweet Baby Ray's. Try to keep it really simple. And, you know, just right on top. This sauce will melt, and it'll mix with the rest of the fat that's gonna render out in this, and kind of make a little sauce to, you know, dip it in. So we're gonna get that covered up, put it back on the pit, just cover it with some foil, put it back on the pit, and I'm reckoning in about an hour, hour and a half, it should be ready. We'll see what it looks like when it's done, but that's where we're at so far. All right, you guys, this pork butt is done. It has cooked for, see, about 9.5 hours. Let it rest. It's still hot, so I've got a towel under here. And I'm not gonna tear apart the whole pork butt just yet, but this is what it looks like so far. Look at that bark. That bark is amazing. Man, look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? So we're gonna tear apart just part of this for tonight. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave the other half of this whole. I'm not gonna tear it apart just yet. So we'll take a chunk out of this, and this is your money muscle right here. In fact, I'm just gonna pull this money muscle right off. Oh yeah, that looks good. Oh yeah. Man, that bark looks amazing. Look at that. Coming right off. You got this pink in here with that smoke ring. Oh, this is gonna be good. You know what? Let's just take a little piece right there. Let's give it a shot. Holy cow. That there, wow. Man, look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. I can't believe, look at that bark. That bark is awesome, isn't it? Anyway, I'm gonna tear a little bit of this apart. Again, I'm not gonna shred the whole thing. We're gonna have this for dinner tonight, but that's the pork butt. I think it's a hit. I like that Smokin Guns barbecue rub. I normally use it on beef, but on pork, it worked really well. So what I'm gonna do is, after I shred this, I am gonna take some of that rub and just kind of sprinkle it in the meat. But that's the cook. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And man, look at that. Can't get over that color. Absolutely beautiful. Anyway, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.